I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine the smell of your childhood kitchen. Maybe it is the smell of fresh bread baking in the oven, or the sharp, acidic scent of peeling a lemon, or perhaps the rich, dark aroma of coffee brewing early in the morning. These smells are not just invisible vapors, they are time machines. They transport us back to moments we thought we had forgotten. But what if one day, you walked into that kitchen, and the air was blank? What if you held that cup of coffee right under your nose and felt the heat, saw the steam, but smelled absolutely nothing? For millions of people over the age of 60, this is becoming a reality. And for a long time, we brushed it off. We told ourselves that losing our sense of smell was just another annoying part of getting older, like needing reading glasses or hearing aids. We thought it was a nose problem. We were wrong. Today we are going to talk about a subject that is often ignored until it is too late. We are going to discuss the hidden, silent connection between your nose and your memory. New groundbreaking research is showing us that the loss of smell, specifically the inability to identify common, everyday scents, is often the very first warning sign of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. It can happen 10 years before the first memory lapse occurs. 10 years. That is a decade of opportunity that most people miss because they are waiting for the wrong symptoms. They are waiting to forget keys or names. But the brain is sending a distress signal much earlier, and it is sending it through your nose. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this happens. You will know how to perform a simple pantry test at home to check your own risk, and most importantly, you will learn what you can do to protect your brain if you notice your world is losing its scent. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the anatomy of the brain in a way that is easy to visualize. Think of your brain like a large, heavily guarded mansion. Most of your senses, your sight, your hearing, your touch, are like visitors that have to go through a front desk security check before they are allowed into the main rooms. This front desk is a part of the brain called the thalamus. It processes information and decides where it goes. But the sense of smell is different. The sense of smell has a VIP pass. The olfactory nerve, which detects scent, goes straight from your nose directly into the brain, bypassing the security desk entirely. It plugs directly into two very specific areas, the hippocampus and the entorhinal cortex. These names might sound like medical jargon, but they are the most important words you will hear today. The hippocampus is the memory center of your brain. It is where you store the memory of your wedding day, the names of your children, and what you had for breakfast. The entorhinal cortex is the gateway to memory. Here is the critical connection: these are the exact same two areas that are the very first to be attacked by the plaque and tangles of Alzheimer's disease. Long before the damage spreads to the parts of the brain that control speech or logic, the disease begins in the smell and memory centers. That is why your nose is the canary in the coal mine. When the canary stops singing, or in this case, when the coffee stops smelling, it is a warning that the air in the mine is becoming toxic. I want to be very clear about what kind of smell loss we are talking about here. We are not talking about the days when you have a bad cold or a sinus infection. We all know that feeling of being stuffed up where you can't taste your food. That is temporary blockage. We are talking about a gradual, creeping loss of sensitivity, or worse, the inability to identify what a smell is. You might smell something, but you can't tell if it is a rose or a skunk. You might burn your toast because you didn't smell the smoke until the fire alarm went off. This is called olfactory dysfunction, and studies from major institutions like the University of Chicago and Columbia University have found that older adults who fail a simple smell test are more than twice as likely to develop dementia within 5 years compared to those with a sharp nose. One of the most fascinating studies on this topic used something you probably have in your cupboard right now: peanut butter. Why peanut butter? Because it is a pure odorant. It is a distinct, heavy, oily smell that is detected by the olfactory nerve, not by the trigeminal nerve, which detects burning or stinging sensations like peppermint. Researchers found that patients with early-stage Alzheimer's had a dramatic difference in their ability to smell peanut butter between their left nostril and their right nostril. Because the disease often affects the left hemisphere of the brain's processing first in certain patterns, many patients could smell the peanut butter fine with their right nostril, but when they closed the right one and used only the left, they couldn't smell it until it was held inches away from their face. This asymmetry, this unevenness, is a red flag. Let's dig deeper into the real-world implications of this. Why do we ignore it? I think it is because we live in a very visual and auditory world. If you couldn't see the road signs while driving, you would go to the eye doctor immediately. If you couldn't hear the television, you would get a hearing aid. But smell? We tend to think of it as a luxury sense. We think, oh well, so the flowers don't smell as sweet, I can live with that. But you need to understand that smell is not just for pleasure, it is for survival. It is an ancient navigation system. It tells you if food is spoiled. It tells you if there is a gas leak. It tells you if there is a fire. When you lose this sense, you are not just losing the joy of food, you are losing a primary safety mechanism. Furthermore, the loss of smell changes your relationship with food, which directly impacts your brain health. When you can't smell, you can't taste flavors. You can only taste salt, sweet, sour, bitter, and savory. The nuance of strawberry or chocolate comes from the nose, not the tongue. When seniors lose their sense of smell, they often start eating poorly. They add excessive amounts of sugar and salt to their food just to get some stimulation. This leads to high blood pressure and diabetes, both of which are massive risk factors for dementia. It becomes a vicious cycle. The brain damage causes smell loss, the smell loss causes poor diet, the poor diet accelerates the brain damage. We have to break this cycle. So, how do you know if this is happening to you? You don't need a fancy MRI machine to start. You can do what we call the blind smell test. You need a partner for this, or you need to wrap jars in foil so you can't see what is inside. Gather 4 or 5 distinct, strong-smelling items from your home. Good candidates are instant coffee granules, a lemon peel, cinnamon, peppermint extract, and peanut butter. Close your eyes. Have your partner hold the item under your nose, about 6 inches away. Can you smell it? If yes, can you name it? It is not enough to say, it smells like a kitchen. You need to be able to say, that is cinnamon. Then, try it with one nostril closed, then the other. If you find that you are consistently missing these common sense, or if you can smell them but cannot find the word for them, this is a signal. It does not mean you have dementia today. It means you have a risk factor that needs attention. But here is where the story gets hopeful. I promised you a solution, not just fear. The brain is incredibly plastic, meaning it can change and rewire itself, even in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. This concept is called neuroplasticity. For a long time, we thought that once brain cells died, they were gone forever. Now we know that the brain can build new pathways. And believe it or not, you can, physical therapy, your nose. It is called olfactory training. Olfactory training is like going to the gym for your smell nerves. It involves deliberately sniffing a set of 4 specific scents, twice a day, for about 20 seconds each. The classic kit uses rose, lemon, clove, and eucalyptus. You open the jar, you take shallow, gentle sniffs, and you focus your entire mind on that smell. You visualize the lemon. You remember what a lemon tastes like. You try to force the connection between the nose and the brain. Studies have shown that seniors who do this consistently over a period of months can actually improve their sense of smell. And by stimulating the olfactory bulb, you are effectively sending electrical impulses right into the memory center of the brain. You are keeping the lights on in the hippocampus. You are exercising the very part of the brain that Alzheimer's wants to destroy. There is another angle to this that we rarely discuss, the role of pollution and toxins. The nose is the direct entry point for the air we breathe. Fine particulate matter from traffic, pesticides, and industrial chemicals can travel up the nose and cause inflammation in the brain. Some researchers believe that the loss of smell is actually the brain's defense mechanism getting overwhelmed by inflammation. This means that protecting your sense of smell is also about protecting your environment. If you live in a highly polluted area, using an air purifier in your bedroom is not just good for your lungs, it is essential for your brain. It reduces the toxic load that your olfactory nerve has to deal with every night. We also need to address the "why me" question. Why do some people lose their smell and get dementia, while others don't? Genetics play a role, specifically the APO4 gene, which increases the risk of Alzheimer's. People with this gene often show smell loss earlier than others. However, lifestyle is the game changer. Insulin resistance is a major culprit. There is a growing movement in neurology to call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. When your brain becomes resistant to insulin, it cannot get the energy it needs. The neurons starve. The first neurons to starve are often the ones in the olfactory system because they are so energy demanding. If you have lost your sense of smell, look at your blood sugar. Are you pre-diabetic? Cutting sugar and refined carbohydrates might be the single most effective thing you can do to stop the progression from "can't smell coffee" to "can't remember names." Let's talk about the emotional weight of this. I know that hearing the word dementia is terrifying. It is the monster under the bed for all of us as we age. We fear the loss of self. We fear becoming a burden. Because of this fear, many people choose denial. They notice they can't smell the flowers in the spring, and they say nothing. They notice the Thanksgiving turkey doesn't have an aroma, and they pretend it does. I am pleading with you today, do not choose denial. Denial is the best friend of disease. If you acknowledge the symptom, you can fight back. There are new medications on the horizon that target the underlying causes of Alzheimer's, but they work best in the very early stages, the smell loss stage, not the memory loss stage. By the time you are forgetting your way home, a lot of brain tissue is already lost. If you catch it when it is just the nose, you are catching it when there is still a lot of healthy brain left to save. If you do the test at home and you are concerned, what is the next step? You need to see a doctor, but you need to see the right one. An ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, can rule out polyps, deviated septums, and chronic sinusitis. If they say your nose structure is fine, then you ask for a referral to a neurologist. You tell them, I have noticed a significant decrease in my ability to identify smells, and I want a cognitive baseline test. Don't let them dismiss you. You are your own best advocate. Doctors are busy, and they might overlook a symptom like smell loss if you don't frame it as a neurological concern. There is also a connection between smell loss and depression in older adults. The two often go hand in hand. Our sense of smell is tied to our emotional brain. Smells trigger dopamine and serotonin. When you lose the ability to smell, the world feels flat. It loses its emotional texture. You might feel detached from your surroundings. If you are feeling low, anxious, or apathetic, and you also can't smell well, these are likely connected. Treating the depression can sometimes help the cognition, and engaging in smell training can sometimes lift the mood because you are reconnecting with the sensory world. I want to return to the idea of safety because this is something you can fix today. If you live alone, or even if you live with a spouse who also might have a poor sense of smell, you need to outsource your nose. You need technology to do what your brain is struggling to do. You absolutely must have working smoke detectors in every room. You should have a carbon monoxide detector on every floor. And if you have a gas stove, you should install a natural gas detector near the kitchen. These devices are cheap, easy to install, and they save lives. Do not rely on your nose to tell you if the pilot light is out. Assume your nose is unreliable and get the backup systems in place. This will give you peace of mind, and stress reduction is key to brain health. Let's expand on the use it or lose it concept. Your brain craves novelty. It craves new information. Smelling the same old things every day doesn't challenge the brain. When was the last time you went to a spice market? Or a florist. Or even the candle aisle at the store. Make a game of it. Go to a store and pick up random candles. Try to guess the scent before you look at the label. This is a workout for your hippocampus. It forces your brain to search through its filing cabinet of memories to find a match for the chemical signal coming from your nose. Every time you do that, you are strengthening the synaptic connections. You are building a cognitive reserve. It is a fun, free, and pleasant way to fight dementia. We also need to distinguish between sudden and gradual loss. If you wake up tomorrow morning and your sense of smell is 100% gone, like a light switch was flipped, that is usually a virus or an infection. That was the hallmark of COVID-19. That is usually swelling blocking the nerve. But the dementia-related loss is different. It is a slow fade. It is like a dimmer switch being turned down over 5 years. It is realizing that you haven't commented on the smell of rain in a long time. It is realizing that food tastes okay, but not great. This slow fade is what you need to watch for. It is subtle, which makes it dangerous. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I have a great sense of smell, I can smell a dirty sock from 3 rooms away. That is wonderful. That is a sign of a robust neurological system. Cherish it. Protect it. But don't get complacent. Brain health is a lifelong project. Keep exposing yourself to complex smells. Cook with herbs. Garden. The more you engage with the world of scent, the better. For those of you who have noticed a decline, I want to offer you reassurance. A poor sense of smell does not guarantee you will get Alzheimer's. It is a risk factor, not a destiny. It is a statistical likelihood, not a certainty. Many people lose their sense of smell for other reasons, idiopathic causes, head injuries in the past, or medication side effects. Check your medicine cabinet. High blood pressure meds, antibiotics, and cholesterol drugs can sometimes mess with your sense of smell. Ask your pharmacist if any of your pills list anosmia or taste disturbance as a side effect. It might be a simple chemical fix. But let's assume the worst-case scenario. Let's assume it is the early protein buildup of Alzheimer's. Even then, knowing it now is a gift. It gives you the chance to get your affairs in order, yes, but more importantly, it gives you the chance to fight. You can start the anti-inflammatory diet. You can start the exercise program. Walking 30 minutes a day has been shown to increase the size of the hippocampus. You can start the omega-3 supplements which support brain matter. You can prioritize sleep, which is when the brain cleans itself of toxins. You move from being a passive victim of aging to an active participant in your health. Think about the legacy of your memories. Our memories are who we are. They are the stories we tell our grandchildren. They are the lessons we learned. They are the love we felt. The scent of a pine tree at Christmas, the smell of old books in a library, the perfume your mother wore, these are the bookmarks in the story of your life. Protecting your ability to smell them is protecting your ability to access those chapters. I want you to make a promise to yourself. The next time you eat a meal, slow down. Don't just shovel the food in while watching the news. Take a moment to inhale. Really inhale. Try to pick out the ingredients. Is there garlic? Is there basil? Is there butter? Engage your brain in the act of eating. It is a small thing, but these small things add up. If you find you can't identify the smells, don't panic, but do act. Buy some essential oils. Start the training. Call the doctor. We have to stop looking at the body as a collection of separate parts. The nose is not just a flap of cartilage on your face. It is the external antenna of your brain. It is the only part of your central nervous system that is directly exposed to the outside world. It is vulnerable, but it is also powerful. It gives you data. Use that data. In the United States, the conversation about aging is often focused on the outside, wrinkles, gray hair, mobility. We need to shift the focus to the inside. We need to focus on the wiring. The fact that you are watching this video means you care about your health. You are curious. That curiosity is a good sign. Keep being curious. So, tomorrow morning, when you pour that cup of coffee, I want you to make it a test. Lean in. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. If the rich aroma fills your head and wakes up your brain, be invalidly grateful. If it is faint, or missing, or smells off, take it as a friendly tap on the shoulder from your body. It is saying, hey, pay attention to me. Listen to it. There is so much we can do to age well. We are not helpless. We are learning more every day. The connection between the nose and the memory is one of the most powerful tools we have discovered in early detection. Now that you have this tool, use it. Share this information with your friends. If you go to a dinner party and someone complains the food has no flavor when everyone else thinks it is delicious, speak up gently. You might be the person who prompts them to get checked early enough to make a difference. Your health is your wealth, and your senses are the currency you use to experience the world. Don't let inflation eat away at your senses. Invest in them. Protect them. Test them. Your brain will thank you for it, 10 years down the road. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope this information empowers you to look at your daily routine differently. Remember, the scent of a lemon is not just a smell, it is a brain signal. Keep those signals strong. Stay healthy, stay sharp, and keep smelling the roses, literally.